Hello, my name is Milena VONKUTZLEBEN and I'm a postdoc researcher at the University of Oldenburg, Germany at the Department of Health Services Research. Today I would like to give a little insight into a joint project of the Divisions of Organizational Health Services Research and the Division of Ethics in Medicine. In this project we are looking at migrant live-in care for people living with dementia. By combining an ethical analysis with an empirical social science perspective, we are analyzing moral conflicts and ideas of good dementia care with a focus on the informal caregiver's perspective. So briefly about the background of live-in care in Germany. There is no official registration and therefore no reliable statistics about the numbers of live-in carers in Germany. Estimations reach from 300 to 5,000 individuals who are temporarily living in a German household, nor about the people with dementia receiving live-in care. But we do know that dementia is often the reason why people seek support from a live-in carer. Organizing a legal live-in care arrangement presents quite a challenge for informal caregivers. It is a grey market beside the regulated long-term care options, and we have different employment models which are not necessarily regulated or legal in all cases. The current state of research on live-in care in Germany points out to several problems related to working conditions, legal regulations, and family decision-making. However, most projects focus on the perspective of live-in carers, and there is a significant research gap as regards the perspective of families affected by dementia. So in our project we are addressing the following two main research questions. The first one is what moral problems of live-in care for people with dementia do family caregivers perceive and express? And the second one is how does live-in care meet or contradict with the ideas of good dementia care? On the next slide, I would like to give a quick insight in our methodological approach as well as some first results and how the results from the first step of the project guide and inform the second step. So in the first step, we analyzed content from different online forums where informal caregivers were discussing the issue of live-in care for a relative with dementia. We performed an ethical analysis of manifest and latent moral conflicts in the argumentation patterns of the family carers and deduced three central hypotheses. In the second step, we performed online group discussions with family caregivers who had experience with live-in care and brought the hypothesis from step 1 into the analysis of the data from the group discussions. So hypothesis 1 was, for families who decided for such an arrangement, live-in care seems to be without alternative if they want to avoid institutionalization of the person with dementia. However, they find themselves in an argumentative field of tension between prioritization of individual needs while defending against the latent accusation of contributing to the reproduction of structural inequality, which reflects a social ethics perspective. In our data from the group discussions, we found contradicting statements of family caregivers who also needed to cover 24 hours of care but had consciously decided against a live-in carer. As one statement from one family caregiver shows, until now we have successively adapted our domestic milieu to the trajectory of the dementia, very consensual. A live-in carer would mean a paradigmatic change if I would delegate this, the informal care, to an agency. Hypothesis 2. Family carers implicitly judge migrant live-in carers on the basis of professional ethics principles, such as doing good, non-maleficence, and respect for autonomy. And respecting autonomy of the person with dementia was in fact the guiding principle and expectation towards the live-in carers, which reflects the professional ethics perspective. The hypothesis is challenged by the self-reflections of a long-term caregiver who also rates well-being of the person with dementia as essential in the group discussions. Minimum requirement was well-being. However, it becomes apparent that this requirement may erode over time. You lower your standards, you dull down. At a certain point, you relinquish control. Hypothesis 3. Family carers expect certain character traits and virtues, such as caring, empathy, and reliability, and live-in carers are expected to put the well-being of the person with dementia before their own needs, and this can be allocated to an individual's ethics perspective. In the group discussions, family caregivers struggle with this, especially when it comes to empathy and dementia-specific caring skills. For example, one caregiver doubted, "But it's hard for me to judge whether you can expect that of a 24-hour worker, that they pay attention to the mood of the person with dementia." So this was just a little glimpse into what is going on in our data analysis at the moment. And I would like to close with a very short conclusion. Live-in care leads to several moral conflicts on a personal and societal level. Live-in care has the potential to meet the general needs of families affected by dementia, but also challenges ideas of good dementia care. And very important for further research, live-in care arrangement shall be understood as a triadic constellation of entangled perspectives and relations that shouldn't be studied isolated but as a whole. Thank you very much for your attention.